Hi, I'm Shlomo Katz, and you're watching Jewish Music Toronto.
Hey there, I'm Eli, and yes, you are watching Jewish Music Toronto. I'm excited to introduce a very special guest today. He's a prolific composer and artist who calls Israel home, with 8 albums to his name, including 2006's VeHaKohanim, 2009's Malei Olam, and his most recent 2016's Yismach Melech. His soulful sound has touched Jews around the globe, from Israel to Canada and the United States, Argentina to Hong Kong, and back again. He is no stranger to collaboration, not only regularly working with his similarly talented father and brother, but with the likes of the Razel brothers, Yehuda Solomon of Moshav, Chaim David Sarsik, Yosef Karduner, and more. Along with his music, he is an ordained rabbi and a writer, and is working to preserve the teachings of Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach and spreading his own through Facebook, YouTube, and at events. He was in Toronto this weekend to participate in various Shabbat Project events around the city and a special event for the Yahrtzeit of Shlomo Carlebach. Joining me today is Shlomo Katz.
That was beyond this world. Amazing.
Do you prefer to be called Rabbi Shlomo Katz or Shlomo Katz?
I prefer to be called Holy Kohen. No, I'm kidding. Shlomo's fine.
Okay.
Shlomo's fine.
You were born and spent your early years in New Jersey, and as it is regularly noted in profiles of you, you come from a line of musicians that now includes your father, brother, Eitan, and yourself. Tell me about the family legacy of music prior to your father.
Well, I wish I knew. That's the truth. I wish I knew, because, like, my father came from Holocaust survivors. So we don't know that much, really, dating back to, World War II. From my mother's side, there was probably a lot, because they were a Hasidic family, a few generations back, from the Ger dynasty. But it really was my father that lit the spark of music in the home, till today. Till today.
And your father was from Argentina?
From Buenos Aires, yeah.
What do you remember of your early years in Jersey? Where in Jersey did you grow up, go to shul, etc.?
The truth is, we left Jersey when I was quite young. I think we left when I was...
About 9?
No, even before that, around 3. Moved to Los Angeles till I was 9.
Okay.
So, the truth is, people ask me where I'm from, so I say LA because it's so much cooler than saying from New Jersey. But I was born in Jersey and moved out to LA when I was 3 years old, approximately.
All right. As I understand it, you got your instrumental start on violin before switching to guitar. What prompted you to switch, and do you still play?
Oh, you're touching a sore subject. I lost my violin. When I was about 11 years old. And maybe I was lazy, didn't want to go back to lessons, whatever it was.
So wait, you lost it or you lost it?
I actually really did lose it, in a department store in Ra'anana where we were living. We met Aliyah when I was 9, and I lost it there. And for some reason, I never picked it up again. Although my mother did buy me one. My parents bought me another one when I was 21. It's in the house. I could probably pick it up and fiddle around with it a little bit, but it's a shame. I should really get back.
Am I correct that both you and Eitan also sang in various choirs in your youth?
Oh, my father was a choir leader.
Ah.
We were in choirs throughout our childhood.
So which ones, and what did you gain from the experiences?
My father was also the music teacher in day schools, wherever we went to school. So whether it was in school or after hours, the LA Boys Choir, I think, was one of them. The truth is, my first gig ever, I just remembered, was opening for Bob Dylan.
What?
On the Chabad telephone. The LA Boys Choir. My father led the LA Boys Choir, and Dylan was on after us.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Normal stuff, normal childhood.
When you were 9, your family made Aliyah to Israel, like you said, and to Ra'anana.
Yeah.
How was the adjustment to life in your new home?
I had it pretty easy because my father is Israeli, Argentinian Israeli. He moved here when he was 14. He moved to Israel when he was 14. And so I knew Hebrew. He spoke to me Hebrew my whole life. As well as moving to Ra'anana. Ra'anana was very Anglo today and also at the time, in 1989. So the combination of having a lot of English speakers around me and being pretty familiar with the language made my transition at the age of 9, 4th grade, relatively smooth.
Though you had a home in Israel, your family jumped around between LA and Israel. Why all the moving?
My father was and still is, a prolific chazan. But not really a chazan, more about tefillah. You know the difference?
I've been learning the difference as I go along, and there are quite a few more people who I have yet to interview on my show Live with Cantors who are Balei Tefillah and only go by Balei Tefillah. And so
you get it.
There is a bit of a difference, including in, I guess you can call it ordination as a chazan or cantor.
Right. So my dad is an incredible Baal Tefillah, and his position was chazan in different synagogues, different shuls. We moved back and forth, my father's work, but the home, once we moved in 89 to Israel, even though we did go back and forth, it was never a question. It's been home since then. So I did go back a bunch of times, but I've been back in Israel since I'm 22. I'm 38 now, and please God, I should be privileged for that to be the story for the rest of my life.
And Eitan lives in Far Rockaway?
Far Rockaway, New York, yeah.
Your early years saw you introduced to the music and teachings of Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach. How did that whole journey begin?
There was a kid that moved to my neighborhood in Ra'anana in high school. I think this was in 9th grade. It was the year that Shlomo died, I think. Right
so
when
94.
He died. Yeah, it was around 94. And he was a peculiar-looking kid. Because he had, I don't know what was so weird. He had things coming out of behind his ears.
I'm going to bet that this means that he is still friends with him today.
And that I took on his minhag. But he was like, I never saw it before. We grew up in an Orthodox community in Ra'anana. It was not part of the way we really... Not
pay out that long.
No, or at all. So, and he would stay in class in recess. And he'd put on, for those of you who don't know what I'm going to say right now, look in the dictionary, a Walkman. He'd pull out a Walkman. And he would listen to something on his headphones the whole time we were in recess. I'm a curious guy, always was. I went up to him one day and I said to him, Ido, lama ata makshiv? What are you listening to, Ido? Lama אתה לא רוצה לצאת איתנו, לשחק איתנו כדורסל? Come play ball with us. No, זה בסדר. I said, well, what? He said, אתה רוצה לשמוע? You want to hear? I'm like, sure. And I'll never forget it. He put on the earphones, and it was Reb Shlomo Carlebach singing a song, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. I'm not trying to dramatize or exaggerate.
Hey, I asked you the question, right. So I'm sure there's a reason it
really is a moment that, a definitive moment in life that I remember clearly, like it happened this morning. When I put the earphones on, I realized that I was taken into captivity. It wasn't up to me anymore.
So I have a feeling that you probably just answered the question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why, of all Torah that you learned, or the music that you heard, did that influence you so deeply?
I felt like someone was directly speaking to my neshama, to my soul.
So I wanted to ask you about, in short order, your teaching career. Do you prefer teaching in yeshivot or at events?
If I understand you correctly, events.
Well, you know, yeshivot in a classroom.
No, that setting. I understand, but events meaning...
Events like what was happening today before this interview.
Oh, sure.
The different tours that you go on, speaking tours.
Right. Much more events. Not to down, God forbid.
I'm sure you have very fond memories of your yeshiva years.
And I have fond memories of teaching in different yeshivas too, but I think that for me, like my style and my approach and my enthusiasm comes out more in more of event settings. Absolutely.
And am I correct that you are or were a pulpit rabbi as well?
I am.
You are still at Shirat David.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about that congregation.
It's a dreamy topic because it's still in formation. It's like we're about 85 families living in Efrat, mainly Anglos that moved to Eretz Yisrael and want to keep on making Aliyah. That's been our motto, like keep on making Aliyah. It's not done once you make Aliyah, you got to keep on making Aliyah. And we're a bunch of friends, we're brothers, we're sisters. It's very I happen to be the rabbi, but I know that it's a brother and sister, relationship. It's very real, and we're all very, very close. And we just got land, so we're going to start building, please God, in the next few months. And
You're building a real big Knesset.
Listen, Reb Shlomo Carlebach opened up the House of Love and Prayer in the 1960s in San Francisco. And he said that the typical shul is a place that when you go in lost, you walk out found. So my dream is that the shul should be a place that someone that feels a little bit lost in the world, if they do, they come out a little bit less lost, or that they know that part of them comes alive there, and they want to get to know themselves more in a beautiful way.
Both you and Eitan are accomplished in your work, both together and separately. How would you describe your relationship with him, personally and professionally?
Now that's a loaded question. No.
I was thinking about asking if there was friendly competition, or it's always collaborative and trying to get each other boosted higher and in the world.
It's definitely the latter. People ask us quite often, what's that like? But anyone that knows us, on the inside knows that we don't view our careers necessarily as careers like people view careers. Mm-hmm. We're each trying to do the best with the gifts that Hashem gave us. That's really how we look at it. And there are songs that my brother has composed that many times they're the only songs I could listen to because that's the only thing I could cry with. And it's a tremendous gift. I am the older brother, so I can't say that I'm tremendously proud of him, but I think he's proud of me. And we're very, very close. We're very different. That's what's very interesting. Even though musically, there are a lot of places you could say you guys kind of do something similar. That's also not true.
I mean, you've probably influenced him, and he's probably influenced you.
Naturally, naturally.
Well, it's your brothers.
Naturally. We shared a room together for many years of our lives. That's how we started writing songs together, living in the same room. But honestly, I'm in awe of what he's done with music. He's his own music, and the seriousness that he approaches the gifts that he's been given are truly, truly inspiring, mamish, and I just bless him that he should continue to discover so much newness that he finds within his own connection to his expression of music, of Jewish music, and it's been a big bracha, huge.
I mentioned in my introduction that beyond your father and brother, you've worked with some phenomenally talented people. Who were you awestruck to have gotten to work with?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
That's a great question. Awestruck? Well, when I was... This is pretty far out, but when I was 20 or 21, I was doing a concert in San Francisco. There was the Chabad Hanukkah lighting. And it was this huge, massive area in San Francisco. And Carlos Santana was the guest of honor to light the menorah.
What?
And I was the band, and I was leading my band, and he was right next to me. And I knew that he spoke a lot about Kabbalah and mysticism. He'd mention angels and stuff like that all the time. So I started singing B'Shem Hashem Elokei Yisrael Mimini Michael Mispoli Gabriel. So as I was singing it, I turned to him and I said, Carlos, this one's for you. And he did one of these, so that was pretty cool. But I wouldn't say I worked with Carlos.
Yeah, that's not collaboration, but that is certainly
the first time I was really struck, I was 19, and my brother and I were working on our first album we did together called Elecha. And one of the greatest guitarists we ever had, Yossi Piamenta, Alav Shalom. He was in LA, and my dear friend got him to come to the studio. My dear friend Stewie Wax got him to come to the studio for the day. And that was very, very, that was big. What was even bigger than his playing, which was magnificent, was that he finished the whole book of Tehillim that day. Then I realized, and I found out that he finished the book of Tehillim every single day.
What?
whole book of Tehillim.
What?
Yeah.
Fast reader?
That's awestruck.
Like,
That was like, wow. So
how does one have the time to do these things?
all we have is time. And when we want to do what we want to do, we use what we have, which is time, and get it done. And he did it. So that was incredible. But honestly, all the names you mentioned before of other musicians, these are all very close friends.
And like I said, phenomenally talented
Talented. Well, it's like, I forget sometimes that like these people that I'm very close to, they're like really big. I forget that because it became family. Like Yehuda Solomon, Moshe Ben, we're best friends. We signed each other's ksubas. We were witnesses at each other's weddings. Karduner, Yosef Karduner, Kodesh Kodashim. That was really an awe-inspiring experience recording with him. Yeah, so it's very cool.
Looking to this weekend now, you kicked things off with the Kumsitz for the Yahrtzeit of Rabbi Carlebach.
Right.
Continued with Shabbat services and meals at Shari Shemaim. Before we speak about last night, tell me about those events and how they went.
I feel so blessed. It's been already quite a number of years consecutively that I've been coming back here. What I love most about what I do is that I get to meet people all over the place and form relationships. Like the home we're in and the people we're in right now, it's not just people that, I know because I go to Toronto. These are relationships. And that's what's happened here. I will really credit a specific person for my Toronto connection to be so strong is Yami Schachter. He really has played an incredible role and opened the door for me to make a lot of friends here. So the experience at Shari Shemaim, it's been already the 5th year that I've been coming back around this time. It feels very family-oriented and very close. So it's just a treat. Yeah.
So I'm going to bring up what happened last night, or yesterday, in relation to last night. Yeah. So I hope you're comfortable talking about it. And I want to introduce that and why I'm going to talk about the specifics of what happened yesterday, just because people could be watching this at any particular time.
Context, yeah.
So to give the full context of it, so please excuse the details. The Shabbat Project weekend closed out with the Kesher Yisrael event at Beit, featuring you, Zusha, the traveling Hasidim, and a few TED Talk-style lectures. Given recent events, I don't think I could speak about this weekend without mentioning the tragedy that happened in Pittsburgh. A 46-year-old white male entered the Tree of Life Synagogue in the neighborhood of Squirrel Hill in Pittsburgh and shot and killed 11 people and injured 4 others. With the night's planned festivities following not long after Shabbat, given little time to learn about and to process the tragedy, how did the organizers and those involved with the event like you handle things?
I live in Israel. Unfortunately, I'm very used to the type of situation where we were put in. Yeah. Unfortunately. So for me, it wasn't something out of the blue. And it still is horrific. Horrific. I just saw the names and the ages.
They just released them earlier today.
So I got up on stage and I said that, when Jews come together, we do what we do best. That's daven. And even though it's a concert here, we have to daven. We have to pray together. So my set was just one long praying session. I was also playing solo, not with a band, which kind of made the mood very just
focused, I would assume.
Yeah. And we started off by singing Shomer Yisrael, Garden of Israel. So the zone was there, and we were a lot of oneness.
I know we only have a couple of minutes left here, and I'd like to stand on an uplifting note. We've talked about who you've worked with to date. Who is the artist or group who you would jump at the chance to work with?
Neil Young. No. Neil Young is my favorite non-Jewish singer.
Yeah.
I can't imagine any type of collaboration.
I said would.
No, would.
Would. Future tense.
Who would it be? I've really worked... That's the thing in my genre. There's constant collaborations all the time. You know, there is an Israeli musician. There's an Israeli musician who I'm very connected to on a soul level, and it would be really special to do something with him one day, which I could see it happening. His name is Eviatar Banai.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that might answer the same question, but the next question: who is your favorite up-and-coming Jewish artist right now?
You know, I get music sent to me all the time.
Oh yeah.
All the time. People send me stuff all the time, and I try, and I think I do listen to everything, because I feel like that's the proper cover each person should get. Whether you connect to it or not, they're giving you an expression of their soul. Honor it, respect it, and so much is constantly coming my way. And there are a lot of young chevra that are like trying to, I would say, do a really good version of other people without noticing it. And once in a while, I'll get something so unique, so new, so fresh, so different. But it's very rare. So I don't know who to say right now, because there's so many different things out in the air. But I do want to give a bracha to people that are talented and musically inclined and in touch with their soul. Don't ignore that which makes you you. It could be that there's so many people that are waiting for you to be you, to find their place of expression of their soul. So I really, really hope everyone, really, really tunes into that, and Bezrat Hashem will be just a much more authentic people like that.
So one final question. In 2020, you'll be turning 40. What do you hope to accomplish by then that you've not yet accomplished?
I would definitely say spend the maximum amount of time with my children. And I know that seems kind of like maybe corny, but it's like...
I would bet, if I can take a guess, you travel a lot.
Yeah.
You're doing so many events.
Yeah.
You don't always take them with you.
No. For their sake, for everyone's sake, yeah. Yeah. I think like on an achievement level, I'll be honest, like I never dreamt anything that I'm doing now. It was never my goals. It wasn't the way I saw or I thought my life would lead me to. This has all been an unearned, undeserved gift. I think it's chut avot, merit of my forefathers, my lineage. So I don't really know like an achievement, like I want to record that album, or I want to put that sefer out, or I want to teach that. But if I do have goals and achievements, it's all about how much closer can I get to my children.
So thank you for taking the time to chat, Shlomo. It was an absolute pleasure.
Me too.
You can find his music on most streaming platforms or via the links in the description below. You can also find that and more right here on YouTube. If you enjoyed this interview and want to see more stuff like it, click the P button on the screen or in the link below to support JMT on Patreon. There are some great benefits available for every level of support, even for just $1 a month or more. Finally, subscribe and click the notification bell to get updates for new Jewish Music Toronto videos. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.